maybe 2 or 3 years ago, purely because there just wasn't a lot of information about, at least new information about displacement halls on Instagram. And I knew all of the stuff that was online already because I've already read it, years ago, and a lot of it was just kind of the same stuff. And there's a couple of accounts that were just that brand, but nothing that was like all displacement halls, like from different manufacturers, and just really about people that surf displacement halls and things like that. So I started it just one day coming home surfing a hall I had. I was just being so enthralled with this new experience within surfing. I won't go too deep, but prior to that, I was getting really bored with surfing. I was just kind of meh about it. But then I got on these hulls and was like, this feels like good. And it feels like I can surf the way that I want to surf, not surf the way the board wants me to, if that makes sense. Like I always felt prior to that, in some boards that I was surfing, that I was kind of fighting it, whereas I feel connected, a more connected kind of surfing with the hulls that I'm surfing now.
I had a similar aha moment with a Ryan Lovelace Rabbit's Foot way back when, and I had never ridden anything really friction free, and it was such an eye-opening thing to be able to just release the board and slide sideways.
Yes. I may have ridden that same one, if it's the one they took to Maine a few years back. Was it Phil's?
He had a red and white one. Then he had one he shaped from Morocco, which was stretched out. This was the red and white one.
No, this was. I think it was blue. It was a different. It wasn't that one. But yeah, I know for sure it was a similar thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's definitely not, high performance, up and down kind of surfing, but it forces you to focus on the fundamentals of surfing, like clean, drawn out bottom turn, bank off the top, reconnect, and just really to do it well and to do it right, in my opinion anyways, it forces you to surf very fluidly and in concert with the energy of the wave you're riding.
I'd agree. I think it's more about actually knowing and enjoying the wave, because you have to telegraph or think ahead so much further when you don't have any fin. You have to really know where to place yourself in the next four seconds, not right now. It's pretty Amazing. You can't just kind of hop your way to where you want to be. Right.
There's no shortcut. You gotta write it. You have to be in touch with what the wave's doing and gonna do. You got to be able to read the wave. Again, that's another like long conversation we can have, is just like the skill of reading water and reading energy in the water, where it comes from and where to put yourself and where to be. And
completely. Yeah.
But thank you for having me. I really appreciate you wanting to talk to me about this.
Thank you, man. Are you coming down to Jersey anytime soon?
I don't think we're leaving Rhode Island anytime soon.
Yeah.
We were thinking about going up to Maine, not for the beach, but like to get like a cabin in the woods to just kind of decompress and be ready for the next school year. But we're not sure we're going to start school in the fall right now.
Exactly. Yeah. My kids are too young to be in school yet, but we're taking them up into the woods to go camping tomorrow. We're going to hang around York and then a little further north. So just kind of break it up.
Yeah, I feel like we're all kind of like in this state of limbo right now, just waiting to see what's going to happen in the next, couple of weeks. I mean, eventually each individual state's going to have to make some type of decision, and then each different school district's going to have to roll it out and see what it's going to look like individually for them. It's kind of a it's a difficult time right now because everybody wants answers, but I think everybody's just trying to like hunker down and enjoy the silence. I'm telling you, man, it's been tough. It's been tough.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's been bad and good in some ways. I've been enjoying being home with my family and kind of stepping back and really reevaluating sort of what's important and what's necessary.
Dude,
So.
I, it's funny, like when it was really heavy, and like I know New York was like locked down, and I know Rhode Island was locked. Everyone was locked down, and it was that stretch of like really awful weather. It felt like it was raining for like 3 weeks,
Yep.
And I remember sitting at the kitchen table and like it was like I was in like a dad moment. I was like, I've got to pull everybody out of this funk, and we were eating pizza that night or something. My wife made some pizza, and I was like, all right, everybody has to acknowledge what's one thing that you don't like, what's one thing that you do like, and what is one thing that you think that we are going to come away with. And I remember saying that the thing that I came away with was the fact that we do way too much, we're overscheduled, and we don't spend enough time with each other.
So I asked my oldest the same thing. We were driving, I think we were going to pick up dinner because you could do curbside pickup. And after a long day, sometimes you don't really want to deal with cooking because you're not just cooking, it's cooking and dishes and the whole thing.
Okay.
So we always tried to take one child with us just to get them out of the house and kind of change the scenery. And I said, going through this time, what's one thing you miss and what's one thing you think is actually good? He's like, well, I really miss my friends, but I love that I get to spend all day with you, Dad. And that just like, that got me. It's like, he's right. Normally we don't get to see each other in this way. This won't be forever. But instead of, thinking about the things we might be missing, at least things that we're used to and might miss because it's what we're used to. But what is coming out of it that's positive, which is I get to spend all this time with my kids who are young, and they won't be young and want to spend time, with their parents forever.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, during this time, I taught my son, or my wife and I taught my son how to ride a bike. And you know what? It was kind of like, I think he's a little late to the game. He's like 10 years old, and maybe we didn't have the time, or we weren't the greatest teachers, or maybe I don't know what it was, but we were like, you know what? This is the time you're going to learn how to ride a bike. And dude, he like learned how to ride a bike in like 48 hours. I was like, this is awesome. It was a game changer. It was just wonderful.
We're learning music.
Yeah.
Yep. I discovered that both my children love music and they love to make music. We've always kind of had like a free-formed music night, like at least once a week, where we just get out anything that makes noise, and like you can beat on things to make drums. We have some like ukuleles, or you can like download instruments on an iPad, and we just like let them do whatever. But
Right.
For music class, because we were with the distance learning, they both went like pretty deep, and I could see there was a real interest in music. My oldest was like, Dad, music is so magical. I just love it. I was like, cool. Okay, so I'm gonna take this energy and we're gonna expand on it. So we're all learning together the piano.
Oh, that's so cool.
Which is something I've always wanted to know. And when I was really, really, really small, my parents had me in piano lessons, but I just, as a child, I was never, I really didn't have a big interest. So that just didn't last long. I wasn't interested in it. I kind of wish they would have made me, but at the same time, I'm glad they just let me be a kid.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting times. The election will be interesting this year.
Well, I don't. We can talk about that all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I got to get going, guys. I have to actually run up to close to Hoboken and back before 5.
Hoboken bound train.
Hoboken. And Kris, I'm not 3 hours away. I'm only an hour and 10 minutes from like downtown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Like the proximity for me was a big deal when I moved out. I was like, man, I'm so worried about not having good food and not having good waves and like all the like lack of culture. But I was like, I could go to some art shows when I want to, and the food down here is really good. So I was pleasantly surprised when I made the move. But leaving Manhattan or Brooklyn was pretty scary when I initially did it.
Yeah.
We were scared. We're getting better food, but there's still only like 2 or 3 places. And after a while, we're like,
Yeah, you've got to really look under every rock. I mean, and when you find a place, you don't let go of that place. You know, it becomes your go-to. I mean, the food where I am is horribly mediocre. It's all serviceable, but nothing's really great. There's a few.
well, I'll leave you with this. When I go to New York, I plan every meal and where I get coffee. And my whole trip is centered around food and coffee. You know, and art and friends, but I like that all, it all kind of, I'll reach out to one friend that I'm meeting, you know, at a certain time in the afternoon. It's like, let's meet here for lunch, or let's get here for coffee. And then we'll go see this show or go to that museum or do this thing. It's all got to be that, because it's, you know, part of culture isn't just, you know, the music and the art, but it's the food and the people and the mixing up of, you know, people from different places.
Totally.
That's, you know, as an individual, I miss that a lot. And, you know, actually I was taking my oldest son to New York every summer. And this summer we're not going to be able to, because I want him to be around culture. I want him to see other people.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to make the effort.
Is a big bubble, like where we live right now.
Oh man.
I want them to know there's life outside the bubble.
There you go. Well, I'm about to get outside my bubble. Let's say goodbye to Tyler, because Tyler's gonna have to edit this now. All right. Hey, Tyler. All right. You guys, thanks again for your time, and we'll be in contact soon.
Cool. Thanks for the question.
All right, Jeff. Excellent. See you later.